you ask the question, what happened to him? Now, Tim, I'm interpreting that as actually maybe being a dual meaning question. One is, what happened to him prior to that point? And I would also be curious to know what happened to him after that point. So you and Debbie encountered him somewhere in the journey of his life. And I think it can be instructive when we run up against people who may rub us the wrong way, people that may exhibit hostility toward our God, people that we're not particularly, glad to be around, whatever the case may be, people that treat us rudely. And sometimes we just write them off, and actually asking that question about what might be going on in that other person's life that is really being a catalyst for them acting the way they are. I think that could perhaps be really helpful in tempering our own attitude. But I digress. So tell me about how the persistent road attempted to answer your nagging question.
Yeah, and I should add that I coach people online who are struggling with depression, suicide, loneliness. Loneliness has become epidemic. You may recall the Surgeon General came out a few months back and said this is a major problem in America. It's a problem with Christians as well, is what I'm finding online. So anyway, I tend to ask those questions because of dealing with people like that. So I call this fellow Doug Zimmer. And Doug, in the book, it starts out, he loses his job and then his wife. Well, that might explain quite a bit about what would make a person angry. And then as the book unravels or unfolds, we learn he's had some bad experiences in the past in church life and with his parents, with his father in particular. So people don't just arrive at a place of hostility without something behind it. So I think it's important for us to try to be understanding and approach things from a point of grace. And so I had fun with Doug. Goes on many of the roads. Debbie and I had bicycles, so I can tap into the experiences that we had and bring them into Doug's world. And he meets various people along the way who challenge his thought system, make him consider some of the things that have happened to him and why and how he's reacted to them. So there was plenty of fodder there to go with it and try to bring Doug to a better place in life.
So why did you title the book The Persistent Road? How did persistent produce in his life?
A lot of it kind of has a dual meaning. Part of it is when you travel by bicycle, you have to have persistence. It's not necessarily hard. You just have to stay at it. But more than that, it's about how God and His love persists us even when we're belligerent, angry, lost. He's there wanting to pull us back in and to save us until we finally would cast Him off. So the persistent road really is a reference both to the journey and what it takes, but more so really to God's love for us.
So as we conclude, if you had to summarize what you would want believers who read this book to experience or take away from it, how would you summarize that?
I would say for believers that you have to cut some slack to people and be patient and realize that God is working even in their state, and try to find out how God may be working, where He may be working, and how you can come alongside that. I had a pastor friend who used to say about evangelism, don't bruise the apples. When you keep sharing and sharing, the person's already heard it, you're bruising the apples. Just let them ripen on the tree, and in time, they'll be harvested.
Yeah,